Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is supposed to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now, and please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post new video. If you know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives book out on Amazon, and also this fibromyalgia self-help handbook. So if you love superhero movies, you'll love this book because it's a superhero style autobiographical book. So in today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing Strictly Ballroom. So if you are new to this channel, if you didn't know what asexuality is a sexual orientation that is the lack of sexual attraction. Personally, I'm sex repulsed asexual. So I don't like sex and I don't like nudity for myself. And so I try to find movies that have got no sex in them. And this is a movie I've had quite a long time. This is called Strictly Ballroom. If you've never seen it, watch it, right? So I'm going to tell you why I love this movie. If you don't like spoilers, don't watch this video, but otherwise stay tuned. So Strictly Ballroom, as you might have guessed, is a dance movie. But it's also a love story. So if you're asexual, but an aromantic asexual, so you're not romantic in nature at all, and you don't like romance, your romance repulse, you might find this movie repulsive because it has got a strong romantic storyline as well as a dancing storyline to it. But it's a lot more deeper than that. So this person here, character is called Scott. And he is a professional ballroom dancer, and he has won lots of dancers. But when we first joined this movie, this particular one dance that was like one of the most prestigious dancers ever, basically he loses because he dances his own steps, and he stops doing the traditional steps because he wants to dance his own steps. Now, his current partner at this point, dance partner, is absolutely fed up with him. She's really mad at him because she wanted to win, and because he decided to dance his own steps, basically they didn't win. And he had meant to be working for this his whole life since he was like 6 years old, something like that, right? And so that's when the film comes in. And this person here is called Fran. Now, she doesn't look like this throughout the beginning to middle of the film, right? Because this person here is called Fran, and she happens to go to dance classes where his parents, well, his mother teaches dance. His parents own a dance class, and his parents used to dance, right? And what happens is unfortunately his dad is very quiet throughout a lot of the film. And his mum is so disappointed in him. And, you know, she's so upset with the fact that he wants to dance his own steps, the fact that he's chucked in his career, that she does whatever she can to get him to change his mind and go to dance at the championships, but dance the steps he's meant to dance, not dance his own steps. And so throughout a lot of the movie, they're trying to change his mind to get him to go to this major championship at the end, which is supposed to be like the biggest dance ever and championship ever, and they want him to win. So his mum throughout the film is always trying to get him to not dance his own steps, but to follow the crowd, basically, and he wants to dance his own steps, right? And so he was asking people, after he danced his own steps at the beginning, he was asking people, like, what do you think of my steps? And his friends and the girl he was originally dancing with, they all don't care about the steps. All they care about is winning. But for him, the steps are more important. However, since 6 years old, it's been his dream to win these championships. So he's really, really torn. So anyway, in his parents' dance studio, this girl here shows herself in the beginning as Fran, and she's basically got a skin condition. She's got glasses on. She wears a really baggy t-shirt, doesn't look very attractive, looks like a kind of a geeky girl, and what lots of guys wouldn't even look twice at, right? And they kind of like don't treat her well. They kind of like, you know, expect her to make cups of tea, expect to be like more like a slave, and just like, oh, she's in the background, don't worry about her. But he has to find a new partner because the woman he originally was dancing with when he decided to do his own steps, she's so appalled with him that she leaves and ends up being with this guy dancer who was a guy who won that particular dance when he first danced his own steps. But there's these major championships that he does want to still win, but he hasn't got a partner. So he auditions for lots of different people. Well, his mum and her so-called friend, who acts more like a boyfriend to her, I think. He basically, she basically tries to keep getting him a partner, and she does loads of rehearsals, and none of the girls are right. And secretly, what happens is Fran approaches him and Scott and says, she wants to dance. She's been dancing as a beginner for 2 years. She wants to dance with him. And he thinks she's out of her mind because, she's just a beginner. He's a champion already. And she persuades him to have 1 hour with her and, do some dancing. And she's not meant to not be very good at the beginning. She's meant to really cock up and, kind of nearly tread on his feet and not be very good and be really clumsy. And then after the hour's up, she gets a bit better and better. But towards the end of the hour, she does these dance steps, which is like tap dancing, right? And he's like, oh my God, where did you learn that? Because it's really good. And she said it's something she'd been practicing at home. So then he becomes more curious and thinks, this girl can do her own dance steps. And so throughout the film, he then secretly keeps dancing with her in private, and they get better and better together until he agrees that she can go to the championship. But meanwhile, the championship's about to happen, but there's some other obstacles they have to overcome first. And what happens is he then finds out later on that she can't make these championships because her family's not going to want her to be there, but she turns up anyway. But he then decides to dance with this other girl because his mother and and one of the guy who runs the whole competition dance finale, he's trying to emotionally blackmail him to say your dad is the reason that your mum's basically the way she is, and that thing, your dad's really the way he is, which is his dad. You see his dad dancing a lot in private, right? But basically this guy who runs the championships guilt trips him into performing with another girl rather than Fran, even though he's been learning in private with her. And he's even ended up going to her family, and her family's taught him how to dance properly, the paso doble, but with with actual style, finesse, and doing like this tap dance routine, very, very strong, like authentic paso doble steps, that are different to what's mainstream, but still kind of mainstream anyway. And so it's really, so he's actually gone into a family like him and everything. He even confesses that he loves her, when before he said, we're just pretending to love in the rumba. He confessed that he made a mistake and loves her. But then this woman, they want to get him with Tina Sparkle, and I think it's Tina Sparkle. And then eventually the woman that originally was dancing with him in the beginning comes back into the movie, and he decides to dance with her rather than Fran, because this bloke who's head of the dance major dance competition that he's wanted to win all his life, he basically guilt trips him and says your dad is the way he is, withdrawn basically and miserable and everything, because he danced his own steps at the championship and he lost. And so he was devastated and depressed, and it took him ages to get out of it, right? And then what happens is a couple of Scott's friends find out and discover that the guy who's the head of the competition has completely fixed it for the other guy to win, who beat him the first time. And so Scott doesn't have a chance of winning anyway. And what happens is he then realizes that he's been living in fear because Fran keeps saying to him, stop living in fear. She's very, very strong character, Fran. You know, she persuaded him to talk to her against all odds. She said he's a gutless wonder because he's like, you know, he's living in fear of like doing his own steps because of what people think. So he's taking the safe option by trying to dance with other women and not her. But eventually, when they say, you know, his dad eventually speaks up. His dad's really withdrawn and hardly talks throughout most of the movie. But at the very end, he says to his son, I didn't dance at the championships. That was not true. What actually happened was your mother danced with another guy because I wanted to do my own steps and she didn't believe in me. And she basically went and danced with this other guy because she was scared of losing with me. And, you know, she should have stuck with me and she didn't. And so he wants Scott, his son, to not live in fear, but to dance his own steps at the championship. So he does. He then rushes after Fran, gets Fran, and they dance their own steps at the end. And at one point, the guy who's ahead of it is trying to disqualify them, but he doesn't succeed because the audience start actually well, his dad starts clapping for him, which is lovely, and he gets all the crowd to start clapping. And even though there's no music because they pulled the music plug out when the guy tried to suspend them both, who's just trying to get the other guy to win, basically, he doesn't want them to do their own steps, his dad starts clapping, you know, to do the paso doble like this, you know. So the crowd then starts going, it's not actually her parents, it's her family. I think they're like I don't know if they're aunt and uncle or grandma and granddad. I don't really understand. But anyway, they're relatives of hers, but her mum's not alive anymore. So, you know, basically the crowd does the music with their hands and they actually do the final dance together without proper music, but with the sound of hands clapping. And his dad, you know, like I said, his dad's finally spoken up and his dad finally dances with his mother once again, and everyone joins in and has fun at the end. So this movie was so powerful for me, right? I have a common thread going through most of the movies I watch, and that is, against all odds, you can achieve your dreams, even if everything seems impossible, even if things seem really against you in life, you can achieve your dreams. And this is basically what this film is about, and it's what a lot of the films are about that I watch. And that's why I watch a lot of the movies I watch. I watch them for inspiration. I watch them to motivate it and inspire me to keep going for my goals, ambitions, and dreams, to keep fighting for them, to keep believing them. And even though they seem impossible, you can do anything, right? I have done lots of stuff with my life that I'm so proud of. I've met Her Majesty the Queen in St. James's Palace. I've spoke to her. The Queen I'm talking about of England, right? I've done that in my life. I've got photographic evidence to prove it. I've been a guest on the TV show with Christian Guru Murphy on Channel 4. I've been an extra in Torchwood before. I've spoken at the UK Asexuality Conference in 2018 in London. I've saved someone's life. You know, I've published my first asexual book. You know, been successful at publishing this since 2017. I published this fibromyalgia self-help handbook successfully. These are both in Barnes and Noble, right? Do you know how amazing that is to have your own imprint, and they're both in Barnes and Noble? This one is also in Waterstones, right? So, and it's in bookshops as well, because someone found it, another publishing company found it in an LGBT shop, you know. So I've successfully published them. You know, this YouTube channel has got over 200,000 views, right? I've achieved more than some people could even hope to achieve in their lifetime. I've been on the Jeremy Vine show. I've been on the BBC. That's via BBC. I've been on another BBC radio show. I've been featured in the Daily Mail, the Daily Mirror, you know, in articles and on podcasts. I've been featured in and on things I could only dream of. I've been a guest in the audience of Deal or No Deal, which you might not even know, right? So you can achieve your dreams. And this is why I watch the films I watch. A lot of the time, the majority of the films I watch are about achieving your dreams, about doing the impossible and making it possible. And I want you to believe that you can do anything you set your mind to and take action towards to get. This is a beautiful film, and I really encourage you to see it. If you love a love story, but with a lot of drama and dance mixed in, this is really, really good. You know, she's very, very strong female character. She comes from not a very wealthy background, but she still sticks up to him, despite the fact he's a champion. That doesn't matter. Status doesn't matter to her. All that matters is doing the right thing, you know, and being your true, authentic self. And I think that's such a powerful message. You know, so please do go watch Strictly Ballroom. It's a fantastic, fantastic movie. I really enjoyed it still, even though it's 1992, I think it came out. So it's a quite an old movie. Now we're in 2021, you know? So it's quite old, but I really love it still. And it's definitely one to watch. I hope you've enjoyed this movie review. Please give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. And hit the bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. I'll see you on the next video live stream. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Bye.